voice on that intro.
I don't know. It cracked.
It totally cracked.
I'm
hit puberty or something today.
Yeah, no, I'm apparently going through puberty. It is what it is. All right, I just retweeted it. We're going to allow this stream to populate a little bit. There's not too much to talk about from last night, from Friday night. Just Trevion Williams had 27, hit a game-winning shot after he missed a potential game-tying free throw. Michigan State blew a 17-point second-half lead, and Purdue landed their first win in the Breslin Center since 2017. That's about it.
That is kind of it. I mean, listen, Michigan State, if you watch the first half of that game, you were like, oh, all right, maybe Michigan State's back, based on the previous game in the first half. They held like Purdue to 18 points or something ridiculous. And I was like, all right, you know what? If Michigan State can just get their offense going a little bit here, maybe they can be a factor. And then they go out and pull the ultimate second half dud. They went small. Israel went small on Trevion Williams down the stretch. And you're just watching and you're like, why? Like, you got to try something different against Trevion Williams. He just abused everybody down the stretch. It was like the ultimate mismatch. Like, I know Bingham's not built to handle Trevion, but at least he's got the length and he was blocking some shots, had some confidence. I would have thrown him in there.
Yeah, I think I would have as well. But I mean, at the end of the day, the issue with Michigan is like they don't have an answer at the five. Yeah. They found one a little bit in AJ Hoggard at the point. They scored 55 points last night, so maybe it's not maybe he's not like the guy that's going to turn the season around. But yeah, I mean, Michigan State just kind of is what they are at this point. I think we've reached that point. I got nothing else to say on that. You got anything else?
No, go Toledo Rockets. That was the one we got last night, and your 14 parlay did not hit. Just so.
Oh no, it did not. And you know what? I did blame you because the one game that you talked me into was the one game that wasn't covering with like 10 minutes left. They all tipped at 4, and at like 5:30, I checked the scores again, and yours was the only one that wasn't covering. And then at the end, like I think we went 0 for 4.
Yeah, it was pretty ugly. It was pretty ugly. No more 14 parlays. Okay.
I might throw some more out there. You never know. We get a little bit weird on the field of 68.
Go 3. Listen, let's go steady here. Well, let's start with 3.
Don't tell me how to live my life. All right, the best game of the day is Texas at West Virginia. The only matchup between two ranked teams. Texas right now is getting 1.5 on the road. Their money line is plus 104. The total is 140.5. Jeffrey, talk to me about this matchup.
Wow, I don't love it either way because Texas. My gut says there's no way in hell Texas is going to go to Kansas and win, and go to Morgantown and win. Like, right? I mean that makes sense, doesn't it? There's just no way. But Texas is the better team. We've seen that, and my boy Andrew Jones. Had a really good game last game. They've got, obviously, we know what they got up front. And now West Virginia's, they don't have the bigs to match up anymore. They did with Big Sheeb and Culver. Now Big Sheeb is going through the whole transfer portal and doing Zoom interviews and figuring out where he wants to go, whether it's going to be Kentucky or Miami or somewhere else. And they don't have a lot behind Culver. Not enough. Now their offenses look better of late. But
the second half of games, not overall.
Right. No, they dig themselves a hole every game. Like, if they come out of the gates well in the first 10 minutes, I feel good about West Virginia. But, man, they dug themselves these 20-point holes the last few games, and I don't love it either way. I don't know. What do you like?
I really like Texas. I think Texas in this spot is my favorite bet of the day. Wow. I already fired on their money line. I liked them when it was Texas -1. So if Texas is getting 1.5, they're getting plus value on the money line, then of course I'm going to love it. And the reason is the same reason that I lean towards Texas against Kansas. And this is just a great matchup for the Longhorns. Like,
it is.
So they have,
again, I just have a hard time believing Texas.
No, I hear you. But so the whole reason that we liked Texas at Kansas is because Kansas, the way that they create their mismatches is by going 4 out, 4 round 1, 4 round David McCormick, or 5 out.
Right.
And West Virginia now, without Oscar Tshiebwe there, they're going with 4 guards around Derek Culver.
But Culver's way better than McCormick in terms of athletic.
Yeah. But he also had 2 points on 1 for 4 shooting and turned the ball over 7 times against Oklahoma.
It depends on what
don't forget
cover
about
you
it.
get.
Yes.
Totally.
Yeah, but it like honestly, like the Culver part doesn't matter to me. You know, like if he goes for 20 and 15,
Right.
I still think that Texas will win this game because they have the perimeter players to match up with all the West Virginia's guys. Like West Virginia's this new system they're playing is built around being able to create mismatches because you play four guards and most teams are going to have somebody at the four where they don't know who to guard. Well, Texas has two guys by the name of Greg Brown and Kai Jones that are 6'10", 6'11", can block shots, can catch lobs, can defend on the perimeter, can defend bigs. And Jericho Sims, and Royce Ham are big enough and athletic enough to deal with Derek Culver. I
Culver
think
may not be on the floor for long. I mean, that's what I'm worried about more than anything for West Virginia. Is they get him in foul trouble or mentally check him out, and then it's the route is on again. And man, it would surprise me, but it wouldn't. So I'm staying away. You got Chaka.
Taking the Texas money line. Like I know exactly what you're saying. And here's the last thing that I'll note is that Texas has built their whole defense. Their whole defensive identity is basically built around like we're going to run people off the 3-point line. We're not going to let you attempt threes, and we're going to make you try to beat us one-on-one. I mentioned this the other day, but they are like top 20 in the country in defensive field goal percentage and defensive 3-point rate, which means they only allow you to take like 29% of your field goal attempts from three, which is top 20 or something like that in the country. And they're third nationally in defensive assist rate, which means all of the buckets that you score against them are basically one-on-one. And the thing that West Virginia, they've taken 24 threes in each of the last two games. It's been a total of like, I think 39% of their 3-point attempt or field goal attempts have been from three the last two games. And that kind of plays into Texas' hands. And West Virginia just doesn't have guys that can win one-on-one on the perimeter. And that plays into Texas' hands as well. So, like, to me, everything here says the matchup is Texas. I was a little bit scared of doing it, of following that intuition against Kansas, but I'm not. I'm just going to go with it. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But the matchup here just screams Texas to me.
All right, so that's your favorite one of the day.
I have another pick that I love too. Can I give you it?
Sure.
It's going to surprise you.
Go ahead.
I love Miami at NC State despite the fact that Chris Lights probably won't be playing.
No, he's not playing, and neither is Cam Auguste. But
Cam Auguste is not playing.
Yeah, I don't think either one are playing. So I don't know how confident you can be in that matchup. I don't love NC State giving 6.5, but Miami's fought. The one thing, even shorthanded, they've always fought and kept it close. So I could see Miami covering. I don't see him winning in Raleigh, but I could see him covering.
Yeah, well, that's the thing is that the last three games that Miami has played have all been one-possession losses. The last three games that NC State has played have all been one-possession wins. And yes, it looks like the news literally just came out while we were on the stream that that Cam Auguste is not playing. So that changes things for me. I'm gonna go back on Miami. I don't feel as good about them as I did before. All right, scratch that. Okay, what's the next best game of the day? What do you like?
So thought I liked Alabama. Sharif Cooper might be playing today. The freshman, really highly talented Auburn, who's been basically dealing with an NCAA suspension. I'm trying to find now, but I think he is playing.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Is there something out there? I'm trying to find out for sure.
Yep. Adam Zagoria tweeted it.
Yeah, you know what? I don't care. Honestly, doesn't bother me. The kid hasn't played all year. I think I like Auburn. I mean, Alabama even more. Give him 5.
I do, and they're not gonna have Justin Powell, who is been one of like the most surprising freshmen in the country. I mean, he's a 6'6" wing that is shooting 44% from three. That's averaging 11.6 boards and 4.5 assists. Like I legitimately need to go back and watch some tape on him to see like if he's a guy that could be like a one and done. I don't know. That might be saying a little bit too much, but I do think
that's a little much there.
He absolutely needs to be someone that NBA teams need to start paying attention. How many guys do you know that are 6'6" that shoot it the way that he shoots it that also can make the passing reads that he can make? There's not many of them. Like that's exactly what you're looking for when it comes to a off the ball guy at the next level. Now, I don't know if he's actually good enough to be able to play at that level because, like, to be completely honest, I think I've watched like one Auburn game this year and they lost by 100 to Gonzaga. So I got to go back and watch a little bit more film, but like it makes sense. All right, so you like Alabama? I like Alabama -5 as well in that spot. The other interesting one where there's going to be some health implications and people whether or not they're going to be able to play is Ohio State at Rutgers. Ohio State is going to be without C.J. Walker, I believe.
No, he's
Which
definitely not playing. Definitely not
yeah,
playing.
which really inhibits what they can do on the offensive end of the floor. Like if you look at the splits for when he is playing and when he is not playing, it's pretty stark. I think there are other options at the point are Dwayne Washington and the Sotos kid, right? So I like Rutgers, and I can't bet it because I live in New Jersey and it is illegal to bet on teams from New Jersey. But I think Rutgers is the play in that spot. I would also
I'm going Rutgers there. They're given 4. I like Rutgers there. I like it a lot.
Yeah, I would also take a look at the under in that spot as well, because I do think that Ohio State is still pretty good defensively. And when you don't have the best player on Ohio State's or the most important player, I should say, on Ohio State's roster playing, then that's going to take something away from that matchup. All right, another one that I like: Oregon -1.5. How do you feel about that?
I like Oregon a lot. I do. I like Oregon a lot. Hold on one sec. Just tweeting something. Tweeting that Sharif is going to make his debut today, according to sources.
All right. Well, I'll talk about Oregon and Utah then, since you can't be bothered on the stream right now. All right. So Oregon is at Utah. They're coming off the loss at Colorado, where McKinley Wright really took over down the stretch and won that game for them. Utah is frankly, just kind of not really all that good this year.
Right.
And I know it's tough to play back-to-backs at altitude. The mountain road trip is always something that we need to keep an eye on. But I just think that the level of length and athleticism that Oregon has is just going to be too much for Utah to be able to deal with. That line, I believe it's come down. KenPom has it as Oregon -3. So I'm a little bit, yeah. Well, the KenPom has that Oregon -3. The line is Oregon -1.
Right.
So that's something to keep an eye on. As is just the fact that Oregon can really get to the offensive glass, and we've seen Utah struggle on the defensive glass at times this year. So I'm going to bet on the length. I'm going to bet on the athleticism. I'm going to take Oregon -1.5 there.
I'm with you on that one. I'm with you. Couple others that I like. And again, I don't look at this slate like not a lot popped out to me. I like Mississippi State in my general fade of Vandy. Mississippi State's giving 4. You know what? After watching Mississippi State, I think they're decent. I don't love them, but I think they got a couple, guys who can make plays off the bounce. And I just don't. I don't love Vandy, so I'm going to take Mississippi State.
Oh, you're gonna laugh at what I'm about to say. I kind of like Vanderbilt in that spot.
Okay, you can like Vandy.
And the reason I kind of like Vanderbilt in that spot is that where Mississippi State has been really good is guarding ball screens, and Vanderbilt just kind of runs like they're not really a ball screen heavy offense. So I think that's where you can see Mississippi State be taken advantage of. Because again, like we talked about this with the Missouri thing, like where Mississippi State is susceptible is teams that can kind of make shots over the top of a defense, and Missouri can't shoot.
Yeah.
Vanderbilt, at the very least, has a couple guys that can make shots. They have Scottie Pippen Jr., who has kind of quietly been having a really good season for a team that no one ever pays attention to.
Totally.
That's not one of my picks because I don't want to bet on Vanderbilt, but it feels like, I don't know, that feels like a good spot for Vanderbilt to make a little bit of noise.
I like Chattanooga. Chattanooga is given 7 at Citadel. Can I read you Citadel, who they've beaten this year? You're going to love this one. Hold on. You're going to love this. Citadel's, they're undefeated. Citadel's 7-0, by the way. They're one of a handful of teams now that are 7-0 or better. They've beaten Piedmont, NCA&T, which ranks at 321, I believe, in KenPom. Toco Falls, I don't know who the hell that is. Columbia International, Carver, so that's 4 non-D1s. And then the other 2 D1s, Longwood, 312, and Presbyterian, 348. So I'm gonna fade Citadel and their undefeated record and say that Citadel's undefeated hopes of running the table end today.
All right.
All right.
Where do you stand on Florida, Kentucky? Because I think that's
Yeah.
one of the most interesting games today, at least from a national appeals perspective.
Yeah. Listen, I've said it over and over after Keontae Johnson went down. I feel like Florida is obviously not even close to the same team. However, I've watched Kentucky the last 2 games struggle to win close games against 2 of the worst teams in the SEC, arguably the 2 worst. I don't know if they will be. Mississippi State could be better than that. They're probably better than Georgia. But Vandy's one of the 2 worst, in my opinion. And now they step it up, and they play a Florida team that even without Keontae Johnson, like Scotty Lewis is an NBA player. Trey Mann's a really good player. Like, they've got enough. So I think, to me, I would take Florida in this one. And it's what's the spread out right now?
4.5.
Yeah, I'll actually take that. I like that pick. I'll take Florida laying 4.5.
Yeah, I mean, I get your logic, and it makes sense. I don't know. I don't want to feel like I'm fading a Kentucky team that is starting to move things in the right direction, if that makes sense. And I don't know if it's that's going to be the time, but the other part is, like, Florida also actually has some, like, real talent on their roster. They got pros, and I would argue that Trey Mann right now is probably the best NBA prospect that's going to be on the floor. So I think that
it's crazy. You're probably right. I mean, listen, Brandon Boston, if he gets it going, will be a lottery pick. If he plays like this all year, he'll have to come back for another season before he becomes a lottery pick. I think at some point he will be a lottery pick. I cannot say the same thing about Terrence Clark, but I still have confidence that Brandon Boston is going to be an NBA player.
All right, so that's a pure stay away from me. What about Oklahoma at Kansas? Oklahoma is coming off of the who did they play this week? They got dropped by Baylor in the middle of the week. While Kansas, Kansas kind of righted the ship at TCU and won by about, like, 75 after losing to
Marcus Garrett, and they're going to get Marcus Garrett back today. If I'm going with it, I'm taking Kansas in a bounce, another bounce back. Like, just, again, they beat the crap out of TCU on the road. I think Oklahoma is a little bit better than TCU. They've got a couple guys and Austin Reeves and Brady Manick that can really score. But I just think, and actually I'm going to take Kansas there. I'm going to take Kansas.
Yeah, the reason I like Kansas is that with Marcus Garrett back, you kind of have guys that are defensive playmakers that can take – like, Oklahoma's got some good guards, some guys that can play off the dribble a little bit. We saw it against Baylor where being able to switch everything and kind of take those guys out of what they wanted to do really messed up what Oklahoma was trying to run offensively. So I do like Kansas in that spot. The other one that the other game that I think that we need to touch on, there are some injury concerns there, is UConn. Do you know if James Bouknight, I think, is officially listed as questionable because he hyperextended his elbow against Marquette in the second half. If he is playing, that line right now, I believe, is UConn -2.5, and, like, Butler is just it's UConn -3 right now, and Butler is just not very good. Are you checking, trying to get some info?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm trying to get more injury info. Jalen Johnson not playing for Duke again. What were you saying? I'm sorry.
James Bouknight.
Yeah, I think he's a game time decision. They don't know yet. They don't know yet whether Bouknight's going to play. If he plays, yes, I like UConn. If he doesn't play, I don't like UConn. So I'm going to wait, see what happens on that one. And the line's 2.5.
It's 3 now. It's 3 now. But honestly, like, I kind of like UConn even if Bouknight doesn't play. Like, I just don't think that Butler is really very good. They're not.
No, you're right. I just don't love it. I mean, and how much does, even if Bouknight plays, how much does that change the line? Maybe it goes to 3.5, but you just feel a whole hell of a lot better waiting on that one.
Yeah, well, I think I'm gonna take it either way. But it's just it's. I
That's
mean,
why your record is what your record is, and my record is what my record is this year.
but Butler is just
No, they're
they're not
not.
good, man. They're not good, and
Yeah.
they still beat Georgetown.
Um, very true. Very true. Um, what else do I like? There was one more. One more.
I got another one that I really like. A road dog.
Okay.
I like Washington State against Stanford. Stanford is not actually playing at home, and I think Washington State right now is like one of the teams that we can kind of capitalize a little bit because their metrics
Yeah.
are not great, despite the fact that they're 9-1 because they haven't really beaten
Very.
anybody all that good.
Yeah.
But a lot of the reason that their metrics are kind of lower is because they played games that were closer than they should have been at the start of the year,
Yeah.
and that was before they kind of started figuring things out offensively a little bit. Their guards, Isaac Bonton and Noah Williams, are playing a little bit better. We talked about Effie on the last stream. He's really really good. And Stanford, I mean, look, they're not playing at home. They're playing in whatever, like somewhere where
Close.
the county is actually allowing people to congregate. And I think this is a really good matchup for Washington State. Washington State can really really guard. I actually think the under might be interesting in this spot as well because both of these teams are really good defensively and really tough defensively. That totals 134. So I think that's something that's worth looking at as well.
Yep. I would agree. I would agree on that one. Two mid majors that I kind of like here are off what we've been doing recently. Wright State, they dug themselves a hole against Youngstown yesterday. Came all the way back to tie it, and then ended up losing the game. I think they bounced back. Now they're given 11. It's kind of a lot here, but I think Wright State gets their revenge on Youngstown a day later and wins. And the same thing with UC Riverside against Hawaii. Hawaii played its first game yesterday against a Division I opponent on the mainland and lost. Hawaii beat Riverside, and they'll play again today. Riverside given 4.5. I will take the Highlanders there, and that is UC Riverside, Robert.
All right. I think that is all that I have written down for today. Again,
Right, so what do you got? Roll through it here for Mitchell. What do we got?
so I'm on the Texas money line, which is like my favorite bet of the day. It's really not close. I have I'm going to go with the under in Washington State, Stanford. I think I like that a little bit more than Washington State plus 7.5, but I also like Washington State plus 7.5. I'm taking UConn minus 2.5 because I'm just going to assume that Book Knight is going to play. And even if he doesn't, I still like that number. And I want to get it before that line will move. I like Alabama minus 5. I am canceling my Miami plus 4.5
Smart move.
or plus 6.5 pick just because Cam Augusty news, and
Yep.
then Rutgers minus 4.5 and Oregon minus 1.5.
All right. I'm with you on Rutgers. I'm with you on Oregon. I'm with you on Alabama. I have Mississippi State minus 4, Chattanooga minus 7, ending the undefeated season of Citadel. It would be absolutely shameful. Florida minus 4.5, Kansas minus 6, Wright State minus 11, and UC Riverside minus 4.5. That's a lot of laying. I'm not taking many dogs today.
Yeah, you got a lot of favorites.
A lot of favorites.
A lot of favorites.
I think I have every favorite. I don't think I'm taking a dog on the board today. Holy crap!
So you're not riding with me on Texas?
Nope.
It's a mistake. It's a
Not.
mistake.
Not doing it. Not doing it at all. I need to take a dog. Hold on. I'm taking a dog before we get off. I'm not.
Michigan, you got to get on Washington State with me. Let's go.
Washington State.
Yeah, let's go. Come on. That'll force you to watch Efe Abogidi, and so that you can come on the stream tomorrow and you can say, Rob, you were right. He's going to be an
All
NBA
right, fine. I'll go Washington State with you plus 7.5.
So, yeah, I just want you to come on the stream tomorrow and say, Rob, you're right. He's going to play in the NBA. Justin Powell is going to end up playing in the NBA. With the smartest basketball mind I've ever met.
Powell one and done. Oh, my God. Justin Powell one and done.
To be fair, I did not say that Justin Powell is a one and done. I said that he's the kind of guy where you got to look at him and see if that's something that's possible. I probably shouldn't have put that in the same sentence. It's early. I'm on the first couple of my bad.
Definitely shouldn't. I mean, you should go back to your voice cracking at the very beginning. That was way better. Way better. Maybe I should take LSU plus 1.5. Maybe that's my dog. What do you think?
I like Mississippi, man. Mississippi's tough.
I don't know. I mean, Oxford. People don't go into Oxford games.
LSU can't guard. They can't guard anybody.
No, they're bad defensively. They were bad when I watched. Really bad.
Do you think that if you put me and you out there with anybody else on Mississippi, that we would be able to get 15 points each against LSU?
I mean,
I think I could.
Are you jacking like you I've heard? I mean, you take some low percentage shots.
No, they're not. They're high percentage shots. I'm a great shooter, but I would just stand in the corner and wait for Devontae Shuler to find me. You know,
that's true.
LSU's defensive rotations aren't going to be there, and I can knock down corner threes like nothing.
Honestly, I think I can drive by Trendon Watford. How's that?
Maybe before your injuries. Now that you have the heel injury and you have like
I got a great up and under. Have you seen Kevin McHale? Did you ever watch Kevin McHale moves? That's God. Like me in the post.
Yeah, you and Kevin McHale have the same vertical.
We do, but you know what? I got that move. I got it over.
And both of them are higher than Robbie Hummel's.
19 Robbie Hummel's.
19.
He's so upset, by the way, because he sent me the video of him the next week doing it, and he got like 20 and a half. And I will not post it. I will not. He wants me to post it so bad. Maybe I'll do it at some point. We'll see.
Here's the thing. Like he's an Olympian. He's a former NBA player. He's still like kind of in the back end of his prime, and he's bragging about a 20.5 inch vertical. Robbie,
love him.
Robbie, you're setting the bar way too low for yourself when you're supposed to be like this peak elite level Olympic athlete.
He wants to do a decathlon with me. I'm like, you're playing in the Olympics this year. I can barely get out of bed right now.
Wasn't he named like the Team USA Player of the Year for basketball?
Male athlete of the year. It's like Michael Jordan, LeBron, Robbie Hummel. I love it.
And he's got a 20.5 inch vertical, and he just did a Manscaped ad read, which I was crying laughing. Oh, unbelievable. All right, Goodman. All right. Hopefully everybody gets those bets in. Hopefully everybody has a winning day. Hopefully we do better than we did last Saturday, because that was
if we don't, Hummel might be in here tomorrow instead of me.
All right, man. I'll see you tomorrow morning, 10 a.m.
You got it.